Are you a Chicagoland real estate investor and questioning if you should allow pets in your rentals? Well, here, we're going to talk about that today. I'm Mark Angley, partner, founder, GC Realty Development, also co-host of Chicago's #1 real estate investment podcast, Straight Up Chicago Investor. You got to check that out. And when it comes down to pets, I get the question all the time, or I get the concerns, or I get the fears of, they're going to destroy the place and so forth. And I just want to walk through today kind of the pros and cons. And I do definitely think there's more pros when it comes to that. So first off, let's set the stage here where across America, this is a nationwide number, but 50% of all tenants have some sort of pet. That's 50%. Now then you have another 18% that might want to get a pet in the next 6 months. So right away, if you select no for pets and it goes in the listing, think about the person that's going to go into Zillow or Trulia. They're gonna put their city or their neighborhood they want to be in. They're going to put their rent range, and then they're going to put pets, Y or no. And if they want pets, then they're going to hit yes, and then all of a sudden your listing's not going to be seen by them, which will basically, if you did that math, will eliminate 2/3 of the people that are actually looking for you. So there's really three things that come down to accepting pets that I always tell people really offsets some of the risk or maybe even some of the potential damage you might even have to pay for. But think about this. We have studies, our units do rent faster if you are allowing pets versus not allowing pets. So that's one. Two, you do get a higher rent. I know listings that we market with no pets, it ultimately takes more than one price drop to get it. And it's actually going below what the comparable property down the street might be getting. So first off, rent faster, get a higher rent. And then the renewal. Our renewal rate for residents that have pets actually is much higher than our units that we are not allowed to rent with pets. Now, sometimes we have units that maybe the HOA just doesn't allow it, and you can't do anything about that, and this video is kind of irrelevant at that point. But maybe you want to make sure you're not buying into properties like that. Because those three things, being able to rent fast, your higher rent, renewal more often, just think about your daily rental rate. If you do that, if maybe you rent it a week faster and you get $25 higher and they renew once more, that's thousands of dollars that you're making up in allowing that pet. Now, let's just say that dog ruins the carpet, or that dog, that cat pees on the floor and you have to refinish the floor. The extra money you're making from renting it faster could be some of an offset. But also, if you are accepting pets, you should be collecting some sort of pet rent or some sort of non-refundable moving fee. I know a lot of landlords that will collect a non-refundable moving fee, maybe $350 per pet or something like that up front, and then they'll still have $25 or $50 pet rent. And there's no right or wrong way to do that. It's more of just how maybe it's a marketing type thing where you make sure you're not having your tenants come out too much out of pocket up front. But then on top of those fees, that extra either pet rent you can get or that non-refundable pet fee when they move in, you can also you also have a security deposit. So not only does that security deposit go towards just everyday damages or past due rent, it can also go towards any damage. So you definitely do have a buffer when it comes to it. Now, one other thing I'll throw out there right now, we're making this video, it's 2026, and so many of you that are watching this or potentially in the future, you're gonna have vinyl plank flooring. Vinyl plank flooring is super pet friendly. My only caveat I always have with people is like, all right, so if you have some $27 a square foot Brazilian hardwood that can only be found in the middle of the Amazon, then and only then maybe you should say, yeah, maybe I'm not going to accept a pet in this place. But everyone else, hardwood, right now in 2026, a couple of dollars a square foot to refinish, worst case scenario. Plank flooring, a few dollars to install. But once it's installed, that dog it's pretty indestructible, and even when it comes to pet urine in our experience as well too. So keep in mind, there's a lot of things that you can hedge your bet when it comes to how you have your unit, the material you're using, the funds you collect, all to be able to kind of keep a wider market there. Think about this. Everyone that's watching this wants to have an awesome tenant, right? And by saying no pets, you're eliminating 2/3 of your options. And in those 2/3, there's tons and tons of awesome tenants, applicants that potentially could be your tenant for the next 5-10 years. So keep that all in mind. The one thing we'll wrap up this video with is whenever I've seen or heard of these horror stories in the past or experienced them myself in kind of reviewing an application when an applicant went wrong, you're seeing that the red flags trace back to the applicant. So yes, they had a dog that destroyed your place, but that tenant had a 500 credit score. They've had 6 jobs in the last 7 years. they had inconsistent income. Like there ends up being a direct correlation between quality of applicant and quality of pet. And think about a pet is a direct reflection on their owner. My dog's got some bad traits because maybe we didn't train him the right way, but he's also got some awesome traits that makes him an awesome dog as well too, where I wouldn't have to worry about him damaging a unit if I was ever renting. So keep that in mind. A lot of what you are worried about can be screened out when you are running your applicant. So if you ever have a question about tenant screening, maybe you don't want to go about this alone, we definitely can help you with tenant placement. If you ever want to just chat about pets, I'm always open to the conversation as well too. Tenant placement, property management, if you want to buy some of your time back, lower your risk, all these things that we're talking about here today is just measuring your risk and risk versus reward. So if you ever want to offset some of that risk of just handling it all, we can do that for you. So talk to you soon.